Hey, all you beautiful people, and welcome to episode 41 of Discourse in Magic. We have a very special guest with us this week, Carolyn Ravn. We are super excited to be talking to her. But before we jump into that, there's an even more awesome special event happening this weekend that Jonah has to tell you about.
First of all, I would not say that it's even more awesome.
It's the best event it's ever going to happen in human history.
That's true. Well, it is a pretty amazing event. Let me tell you what it is. Eric Leclerc, Wes Barker, and Chris Ramsey are all coming together in Toronto on Sunday, January 15th, 2017. That's like 2-3 days from now at 5 o'clock for the most amazing event. It is our first live podcast ever. It is going to be so cool. And I know right now there's two types of people. There's some of you that are thinking, woohoo, I live in Toronto. I will see you there. That sounds amazing. And then there's some of you that go, well, Jonah, some of us live on the other side of the world. Well, you guys have options. You can either fly here, or instead, you could tune into Facebook. You go to facebook.com/discourseandmagic, and we will have some live videos happening for the event, and I think you are really going to like it. So if you can't make it, you can tune into the event live, but if you can make it, there's going to be events all over Facebook, all on our Discourse and Magic page, so let us know if you can attend. It's going to be a really, really cool event. Before we jump into the episode, I just want to say my apologies. Last episode, I promised that Di Vernon would make it on this episode, but he called in sick. So I'm really sorry. I promised last time, so I wanted to be very serious. But he will be on, obviously not 42, because that's the live show, but the next one, 43, that one will, that'll be with Vernon. So without further ado, here it is, episode 41 with Carolyn Ravn. Hello everybody, and welcome to Discourse in Magic, where everything is made up and the methods don't matter.
That's never right. Have, never will.
Never will. Get your pinkies out of the deck. There'll be no half passes.
Unruff that spray.
Unruff that spray. You separate those cards. We are going to be talking theory and performance and business and all the good stuff. And today, we are doing that with the one and only Carolyn Ravn. How are you?
Hey guys, I'm doing great. How are you?
We are doing very well. And we're very excited to be chatting with you. Today's been an interview-packed day, and we're pumped for this one. How's everything?
Well, things are going great right now. It's I've been on a strike. You know, everything has been leading up until this moment. I guess it's this year has just been crazy with TV stuff and new things coming up for next year. Where I'm probably and hopefully gonna do a world record where I'm gonna be the first and only magician ever to have done a show for the entire world at the same time. No pressure, but that's what I'm going to do.
Wow, my goodness. Okay. Well, why don't we start at the beginning, and then we will work our way to that incredible introduction. So let's start at the beginning. How did you get into magic?
Well, it all started with, like for many magicians, it all started with my grandfather showing me a trick when I was a kid. But it wasn't really just a one-trick kind of thing, because my grandfather was actually a magician. He was a world-class boxer in the beginning and traveled the world doing that, like the World Championships of Boxing, and retired early. And due to that, he had a lot of spare time. So he started picking up magic, and at the age of 3, I remember he came up to me and he was like, "Oh, Caroline, what's that behind your ear?" And he pulls out a shoe, and I'm like, "What?" like that's weird. And I started thinking about this stuff, and it's so great that this is like one of my first ever memories. And I didn't realize that you could be a magician. I didn't see how that was a thing. But whenever I lost something, he was like pulling it out of my ear. And when he wasn't around, I started looking for myself. You know, I came to kindergarten with scratches on my neck, and I'm sure that the teachers were like, "What the fuck is going on at Caroline's place?" It's something is off. And
It sounds like you weren't losing stuff. It sounds like your grandfather was stealing your stuff and then pulling it out from behind your ear.
Oh, he was a pickpocket. That's what he was. Oh, it's so much clearer now. Makes so much sense. Oh, well, anyway, so he decided to teach me magic because he saw that there was this interest for it. it came out
It's
a couple of
the only
years.
way to stop you from clawing at your neck.
Yeah. He was like, Caroline, you can do this on someone else. like the guy on kindergarten that you really like, you should do that on him. No, but he started teaching me magic, and he did that like once a month for a couple of years. He died when I was young, and so we had our little like secret magic club at his place. But the thing is, he speaks Danish, and my last name is Ravn, which is Danish for Raven. But it used to be Caroline Nilsson. That was my name, and it doesn't sound very cool, you know. So and that's another
contraire,
story.
I think it sounds very cool.
Yeah, but
Caroline Nilsson, really?
Well, it's no Raven, but you know, like it's.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, so to honor my grandfather, I actually changed my name later in life. But well, anyways, so me and my grandfather, we did magic together, and it turned out that when I was a grown up, I realized that no one knew this about me and my grandfather. You know, it's people knew that I went there and I bought him milk, but since I didn't speak any Danish, I always brought the wrong one, and that was fun. But anyways, so we did magic together, and then I didn't really show anyone because I was a very bullied child, you know. People called me ugly every day, and they pushed me into lockers and like locked me into the bathroom and stuff. And so there were never a chance for me to show anyone else. And so yeah, he was like my magic place. And when he passed away, I didn't have a magic place anymore. So I stopped doing magic. And I kind of am happy that it happened. You know, it's like I don't know where I would be in life if I kept doing magic for those 15 years where I was out of it. But I'm kind of glad anyways, because I've done so many things. You know, I used to be a preacher, and yeah, that's the different life, you know. But I've learned so much, and yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
It's been great. You know, I stopped doing magic when I was a kid, and then I found church. Where I don't come from a religious family at all, but because of all the bullying, I found a safe place in church where things just made sense to me. People were nice, and they asked me if I wanted to be like a leader for the confirmand group, and I was like, okay, they basically have one more cookie than the rest of the kids, and they get to bring the pens. I can do that. So I did, and then after graduating high school, I started studying theology, and I went to the university for 4 years, and I absolutely loved it. And while I did that, I worked in church and I preached. And at one point, I worked with homeless people in the city of Malmö, making sure that they had clothes and food and medicine. And yeah, I basically took care of them. And that was probably my favorite job of all time, except for being a magician, of course. But it's very nice to be needed that way, you know.
Yeah.
And I see them sometimes when I'm in the city, and yeah, you know, I wave to them, and sometimes I bring them to have some coffee, and it's good to see that they're doing better, you know. So, yeah, I try to be a good person.
And then how did you jump back in? When did that happen?
What caused the switch back into magic?
Well, working in church is very interesting. It's a place like no other. You can think that the church is probably like everyone is very nice to each other and stuff, but where I worked at the time, people were like bullying each other, and I didn't really like that. So I had found myself in a position where I was like, do I really want to do this for a living? Do I really want this for myself? And so I went to Stockholm, to the capital of Sweden, by the way. So I went there, and I went to this place called the Magic Bar, and I absolutely loved it. It was so cool. And so I find myself sitting in a backstage room kind of thing. You know, a cute girl coming to a magic show. Of course she can come backstage. So I'm sitting there with Anders Modén, who created Healed and Sealed soda, you know, and Tom Stone is sitting there, and they're like, "Oh, Caroline, do you like magic tricks?" And I was like, "Well, absolutely." And they hand me a deck of cards, and I haven't done anything with cards for like 15 years, and I'm like doing, you know, that other card trick, and it sucks so bad, and so Tom is looking at me, and he's like, "You know what? You should call me one day." I don't really know how he got my email address, but when I got to my hotel room that night, I had an email from him. And so he was like, "You know what, Caroline, there's something with you. I have to show you something." and he basically offered to be my mentor. He flew down to the south of Sweden to spend 3 days with me, and he showed me so many things that I wish can never be unseen. And that sounds wrong, but no, it was nothing like that. Tom's a great friend. He's a great magician, and I had the best time. Yeah, it was amazing. He brought like the cups and balls, and he did like sponge ball things, and he brought everything basically, and everything he did was magical because I hadn't seen it like that. And Tom Stone, he's amazing. He's like the only wizard in the world, and he's so cool. And he's sitting there. I'm literally sitting right now. I'm sitting on the place where he was sitting when he taught me magic, and it's so humbling in a way that he kind of chose me to take care of me that way. So after 2 months studying with Tom Stone, I quit my job because I didn't like it, and I had some money saved up so I could do that. So I decided to put all my money and energy and time into doing magic. So he started giving me homework. Yeah, that's amazing. And he started giving me homework, books to read, videos to watch. And and in about half a year later, I was up and running. I had my own show. I did close-up. I did stage. And it was a very, very fast journey. And yeah, it was crazy. But I think from working in church, I had the ability to talk to people in a way that really helped me. And being on stage wasn't scary because, well, I used to preach. So I had that going for me.
Wow. You're used to getting up in front of people and trying to connect with them on a level.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's really awesome about that story is that you got that incredible mentorship relationship, which seems like it's been dead to the magic world for like 50 years.
Yeah.
It seems like everyone else goes from their inspiration, which is their uncle or cousin or something with a coin, to finding out that magic stores are a real thing, and then just being lost in that world until they open their eyes and realize it's time to put a show together. But
then they ask on the Magic Forum 24 hours before the show what they're going to do.
There you go. They go, I got a big show coming up. Do you have any good ideas for some walk-around pieces?
Oh, so shoot me now.
6 months ago, yeah. But I think that's a really awesome story because you sort of got the almost what a lot of people consider to be the difficult parts out of the way up front, which is learning how to perform and talk to people and like speak to people, and then you kind of did a crash course in magic with Tom Stone, which is incredible, and then you came out an incredible magician.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be one day. I don't consider myself being an incredible magician quite yet. I'm still a student, and that's one of the things that Tom taught me in the beginning. Caroline, you have to be a student as long as you can.
100%. I am forever a student. That was sort of part of the whole reason why we started this podcast, which is just to seek advice, seek advice from the people who've done it before us, and so that we don't have to trip over as many things. So I think that's really awesome. So let's start talking about, you said that you put together a show. What was that like, putting together your first show after basically just learning how to do magic?
It was scary. Because he never wanted to tell me what to do. He just wanted to see me do it, see me have my own mistakes and see what works and stuff. He has been very, very supportive ever since the beginning. Because the thing is, well, I'm a girl, obviously, and being a woman in magic is very different from being a guy, because I basically have to think differently because my clothes are different, and and people watch me differently because I am a girl. And so finding the routines for me was always hard, because I needed to have things that were not connected to me having a jacket, like a jacket like that, because I want to wear a dress because I like wearing a dress and high heels. That's what I do. Even if I'm a very tall girl, and if Rick Lax is listening to this, I do strike people as a tall girl, actually. That was the first thing he said to me in Las Vegas. He was like, Caroline, you don't strike me as a tall girl. And I was like, what the fuck?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Rick?
It's so funny. I love him, though. But anyways. So I basically tried to find routines that I liked, that was visual and made sense to me, things that I could use for my personality and stuff like that. So for me, I started with my final act thing, and I wanted it to be strong, beautiful, and a storytelling thing. So I started doing some research. I read Tarbell Course in Magic, which is the best series of all time. If you guys haven't read it, you have to do it. Stop this podcast right now, read them all, come back. I'll wait. And
we won't be anywhere. It's already we're not going anywhere.
yeah, right. It's so good.
We'll just edit in a 3-month gap into this episode.
This episode
3
is
months,
10,000 hours.
Worth it. Anyways, so I started putting in my final routine, and I wanted it to be Gypsy Balloon because it's an amazing trick and it's beautiful. And so when I do the Gypsy Balloon, I incorporate my story. Like as I pull off the pieces of the string, I'm telling different parts of my life. So I put it into 5 different pieces because for me, that's how my life has been divided for now. Like how I grew up and that I was bullied and when I went to church and how I kind of broke loose from the church. And the 5th one, when I met Tom Stone. And as I'm like pulling the pieces together, I put the back on the string and I talk about where I want to go because like literally right after this podcast, I am going to fill in my application to do FISM Europe. And so, awesome. Yeah, it's going to be so much fun, right? I'm totally going to die on stage because I hate competing.
Don't say that.
It's so scary. Anyways, people are looking at me weirdly. But when I put it
right
back,
now, no one's looking at you. It's a podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is true. And yet I'm in my jumpsuit. What's this? But anyway, so when I put them back and the string is complete again, people have just heard this. It's about 6.5 minutes story about a girl who was bullied and she was raped by her boyfriend and his best friend, and she lived in a place where everything was just chaos, and then she found church and now she's doing magic and traveling the world. It's a very strong piece. So I started with that, and then from that I just thought about like what kind of routines do I like, and so I started watching magicians that I like a lot. I went to a lot of conventions and I went to a lot of seminars, and I've bought so much shit. There's so much shit in my apartment, I have no idea. But yeah, it's basically just finding myself and finding what I wanted to do, and very early on I realized that I kind of have Tourette's or something because it's a very not dirty show, but there's a lot of under the belt kind of humor going on, and I like it that way because that's the way that I am.
Good.
Yeah, it's fun and it's
like it's you know, like
yeah.
If you've discovered that your show is exactly where you are, you know, exactly the sort of things that you joke with and play around with, then it means that you're in the right spot.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's my number one tip. If you're putting together a show, find who you are first and let the magic come after.
It seems that
every single successful magician in the world, when they're like, if you're putting together a show, learn about who you are.
Yeah.
Across the board, that seems to be the best advice for putting together a show. How quick after you doing a crash course in magic was it until you had your first show up and running?
I think I did my first 20-minute show for a paying audience only 3 months after meeting Tom.
Oh,
wow.
My goodness.
Yeah.
That is absolutely incredible. And
how
was that? Okay. What? Okay. How was the experience? You know, because the reason I bring it up is because, you know, you spend 3 months, you know, I don't know how daily or weekly or, you know, working on magic, and then you sort of that all culminates and you do a show. And I mean, without a doubt, it's going to be like not a great show. You know, no matter who you are, that's going to be a tough show. So what after that made you say, let's keep at this, you know, let's keep doing this and make a career out of it?
I've never even thought about that, guys.
No, but do you know what I mean? Like, because you got in very quickly, you quickly performed a show.
Yeah, I was in a very boring position. Like my life was so boring, right? At that time. only a couple of months before I met Tom, I broke up with my fiance, and we were going to get married. I had bought the dress and everything, and shit went down. So we broke up, and I met Tom, and everything was exciting again. And I did my show, and when I did the show, it was with. What were they called again? It was like the Swedish ukulele orchestra or something like that. So they basically had 20 guys playing the ukulele, and they wanted me to do a trick with the ukulele. And I was like, well, I can't even make a coin disappear, but I'll make it happen. So I basically just started talking to magicians and asking for help, because I think that I don't even remember what the question is, but this is important anyways. So for me in the beginning, it was like, Tom was a great person for me. Like, I tried to see him as much as I could. I talked to him like every day and stuff like that. But when growing into magic, you have to kind of open up your eyes and see who else is out there and what have been done before. So these ukulele people, they wanted me to basically make a ukulele appear out of nowhere. And so I started talking to people and asked what have been done before. And I found these guys, the Swedish guys, Brynolf and Young. I don't know if you know who they are, but they're doing a great thing in Sweden right now, where they have their own TV show, and it's really, really, really good. Wow. And they were on Fool Us a couple of years ago, and yeah, they're really cool. Anyways, so...
Oh, I know who that is. I know who they are.
Yeah. Oh, they're so funny.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I started talking to them, and like they were giving great advice, and I don't know if it is because I'm a girl that people have been so helpful, but people have been great to me, so that's very nice.
Well, I think it's awesome, the idea of sort of reaching out to other magicians to help the journey. I just think it's a beautiful idea, and whether they helped you because you're a girl and they thought that was great, or maybe they helped you because you learned to connect with people from preaching for so long, and it's so easy for people to relate and share, and like it could be anything. But I think the underlying idea of reaching out for help when you require it is I think a really good one. Let's chat a little bit about media presence and sort of sharing what you do with the world. How do you get people to, or how did you get people to know about who you are?
Well, it started about 2 months after I met Tom Stone. I basically just called the local newspaper, and I was like, hey, I quit my job to do magic. and they were like, that's fun. So they came to my apartment, I did some tricks, and they recorded some video footage of it, and they wrote a big article about it. And like a week after, I got this phone call, and they were like, oh, hey, we work for this and this magazine, and I was like, really? You guys still exist? because I got because I thought it was a joke,
You get a call from a magazine who wants to interview, and you're like, really? You guys are still around?
Yeah, right?
Wow.
Turns out they've been running for 89 years. I had no idea.
Man.
And so this is a magazine that is handed out to every third and fourth grader in Sweden, all over the country. And they wanted to do an interview with me, I guess. And so I was like, yeah, absolutely. Where do you want me to fly? And they were like, no, we're coming to you. So 3 people fly into my apartment. I live in a very small town, you guys. Very, very small. We did build the Opera House of Sydney, and I'm totally taking the credit for that, though. But anyways, so they come here, and they do this photo shoot and everything. It's my first ever photo shoot. Laying on the floor in my kitchen, because it's like a checkers thing. It's really cool. And so a couple of days later, I get the article sent to me, and they were like, oh yeah, you're going to be on the front page. It's going to be 7 pages, and it's going to be a poster, and it's going to be the front page. And I was like, oh wow, this is really cool. And I get it sent home to me, and I see that it was printed in 504,000 copies. And,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I was like, what is going on? And
that's crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy, right? And so that's where it all started. I've been doing magic for 3 months, and I'm already like national famous people thing, It was crazy.
So crazy.
Yeah, so the local news called me. some newspapers, some magazines, and it basically just started rolling. And as that happened, my show had to be better, because the more publicity you get, you need to deliver.
For sure, you have like A++ publicity and a show that you've been maybe working on for 3 months, but probably however long it took you to decide you wanted to do a show and then doing it.
Yeah, right. So I basically spent 10 to 12 hours every day in my rehearsal studio, and it was just crazy. So there is a cultural house thing very close to where I live, and I talked to the city where I live, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you can have that as a rehearsal studio." So they were like very supportive, and has been ever since. So they basically just opened up a room for me, painted it black, put in 100 chairs. There's a big mirror, there's sound, and there's lights, and it's perfect. Yeah, so that was very nice of them. And so that happened, and I started doing more and more magazines, and I opened my Instagram account, and that's been growing a lot lately, so that's great to see.
So let's chat about, I want to get into Instagram, but before we do, I just want to talk about, classic news and magazines, because you tend to be doing an incredible job there. What's the key? I mean, it sounds like it took off pretty quick, but what's the key for somebody to get into news? I was listening to a recent a business podcast, and one of the things that the guy mentioned, which was very similar to what Wes Barker mentioned when he was talking about getting on TV, is he said you have to pitch multiple stories, because these people are getting tons of emails every day with people pitching their stories. So you have to pitch different stories in different ways to do it. But it seems like you emailed someone and said, "Hey, I quit my job to do magic," and a tsunami of awesome opportunities came. So my question is, since that point, since you sort of had to be strategic about it, after that big jump, what did you approach these magazines or newspapers and stuff with?
Whenever I had a big thing coming up, I tend to, I still do, whenever I have something big coming up, I just email them. So now I have built up a network with reporters and journalists that I email, and I try to be very selective when it comes to those things, and I always I favor a couple of them. I always say like this person, because let me take it from the beginning. I have a mind map on my table whenever I try, what am I going to do with my month or whatever, where's going to be my media strategy thing, and I see, I haven't been in this magazine for 3 months, I have to come into that one, what will I pitch them? And I approach this one person that works there, and I say, this is a for you guys exclusive, and you have 3 days to take it, or otherwise I'm going to go to your opponent one. What is it called?
Wow. Competitor.
Yeah, competitor. And they always take it. Always.
Wow.
Yeah, and try to make it exclusive for them. But the thing is, you have to have a relationship with them first. So for the local news, we have 3 local newspapers here, and I always favor one of them. And the reason is that last year they gave me an award for being the most inspiring person of the year. So ever since, I always try to call them first. Yeah.
Wow. So you make a plan as to which stations you need to call, and then you call them and basically offer them exclusivity, but in a very short amount of time.
Yes.
And do you reach out to the stations or specific people who either do the writing or are influential?
I always try to target the specific person. Yeah.
Wow. And I think that that's huge advice, because we mentioned in a couple earlier episodes how much benefit you get from being in any news, and whether that's TV news or the paper, there's huge benefits that come out of that. And I guess people are almost hoping that it'll just fall from the sky. Yeah. And it seems like you got started very quickly, but also a lot of it was proactive on your part. A lot of magicians get into magic because they're kind of interested and socially inept, and slowly they're able to use magic, and then they like magic and whatever. It seems like you thought magic was cool. You took lessons regularly. You reached out to all the local newspapers and told them about what you were doing, and you came out with a bang. And I think that really reflects on what the how the outcome has played out.
Yeah, well, the thing is, people always forget that it's we call it show business, and there's a reason that business is the longer word in that, and
right,
because it really is. It takes up 98% of my time doing the business part. I recently hired a new assistant that is working for me. It's about 40%, and she's doing a great job. A big shout out to Alice. If you guys email me, you're gonna get an answer from Alice. She's great. And but anyways, so I think like for the media thing, I think it's important to show them that we are superstars. We're not just magicians, because we can do something that other people cannot do. And these people are sitting there and they're waiting for the next big thing, And if we just call them, or you know what, even better, if you have the time, if you have 5 minutes, just go to their local office and wow the person sitting there. We can do that with basically anything.
It's true.
Just give them a ambitious card. Do anything for them. Ask for 5 minutes of their time, and they're gonna love you. And they would be happy to do anything like that for you.
I don't know whose quote it is. It escapes me, but you should be the best magician anyone has ever seen for whoever you're doing magic for, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that really plays itself out. Like, perform, show them something, prove your worth. We all know we can do it because people scream and shout and yell to the hilltops when we do magic. Yeah. So why don't we do it for the people that we're looking for publicity or something from, and have it benefit us.
Yeah, have them be your friends, because they want to write about us. They think it's fun, because what are they going to do all day? Talk about traffic and the weather and some book that just got released. The local news is perfect for magicians, and we just have to approach them, and it's not very hard. Just be nice to them. Maybe the thing is, I tend to invite people home to my apartment, and this is gold, you guys. Always make sure that you have something in the oven, like a cookie or muffins or scones or whatever, when they enter. They're not gonna say that they want anything, because I think that's sort of their thing, that they're not gonna have anything. But your home smells amazing. And when a home smells amazing, they're gonna be, oh my God, I like this place, I like this person, because they're smiling all the time. And I've tried both with and without things in the oven. And with the oven thing, it always works. The articles are always so much better. Just saying.
Oh my, what a tip. That is a secret tip.
That's such a girly tip, though.
No, but everyone's
it's like
at
a
home.
real estate agent, get the cookie spray out.
Everyone's at home like, what effect should I do? And you're like, as long as the muffins are in, I'm good. Yeah. This article's going to be fine, I think.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
take
an awesome tip.
Yeah, thanks. And another thing that I really want to say about this thing is that a lot of the people that, like our clients, a lot of them have a newsletter and maybe even a branch kind of magazine that everyone wants. So for me, right now, I am the headliner of the Domestic Airlines magazine. So it's like, I don't know, hundreds of flights every day, and I'm there in the pocket, and everyone reads about me. And awesome. The reason I got on there was because they approached me to do a show this summer, and they didn't offer a lot of money, but they offered 12 domestic flights and some money, and I was like, yeah, well, okay, I can do that. And afterwards, I contacted their head of communication, and I was like, oh yeah, I did this and this, and that was a lot of fun, and I'm hoping that maybe we can jump on the phone. We jumped on the phone, and I started talking about my YouTube channel and how I'm building that up, and how I have a nephew that is only 2.5, and he loves aircrafts, but he's never seen one in real life, yet alone not ever been on one. And he was like, thinking that it was his idea that they were going to fly us up to Stockholm and give that to me for my vlog, and I'm going to find a photographer, we're going to film the entire thing, and they basically paid for everything. And I brought my nephew to Stockholm, and he had the time of his life. And
we got a little Leonardo DiCaprio Inception going on over here,
right? And I hope he's not listening to this.
I do not want to be the news writer for you. You're going to end up, your whole career is about Carolyn Ravn.
I know, like, what am I going to be doing
eating
for you
warm
at the end
muffins.
of this podcast
Yeah, what's going
that I
on
wasn't
here?
prepared for?
got some Sherlock Darren Brown stuff going on over here. I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
I'm not just pretty.
Yeah, really, man. That's like some awesome advice. Like once you have, if you have someone who has things to, like I'm trying to think of the best way to say this, but when somebody wants to offer you something either in exchange for your performance or something like that isn't money, especially keep in mind that there's so many. Anything can be a media opportunity, right? And
yes.
like you can to try to make it into their book, to their in-flight flyer, which it seems like you didn't try to do. They put you in.
Yes, I made it their idea. Yeah.
Right, exactly. You made their idea to put you in the flyer, and I just think that that's awesome.
It's not even a flyer; it's an actual magazine, and it's beautiful. And
oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I'm making it sound like I heard about this for the first time, but I'm a fan of yours on Instagram and stuff. So I saw when you mentioned it, like I know all about it. But it's definitely really cool, and especially to have more context right now that you incepted them.
Yeah.
And let's just hope that they don't listen to the interview. I guess I don't know.
Well, I'm sure they would love to. They check out all of my things. And the thing is, I was actually going to have a meeting with that head of the communication this morning, because that's when I flew into my local airport thing. And we were going to have a meeting about the upcoming commercial things that they're going to do for YouTube, because they want me to headline it and they want me to create all the commercials for them. And yeah, that's only from talking to them, being like BFFs, always replying to their text messages, and yeah, that's great. And the thing is,
awesome.
Yeah, that's going to give me so much more work. It's going to be amazing.
For sure. Lifelong like friends and lifelong clients and lifelong, like I almost want to use the word partners, but like people who want to help you when you help them and back and forth are, I think, the number one thing for your magic. For me, like 90% of my clients, I guess that number changes, but are repeat clients, right? Like most of the people that book me are booking me for a second and third and fourth time.
Yeah.
And that's just awesome. And that lends to say that I'm really connecting with these people, and and to try to turn that into media instead of just pleasing the people you perform for, but trying to either do it with media or leverage it into media or pitch it to different forms of media is, I think, really, really awesome. Let's chat a little bit about Instagram, because you are blowing up on Instagram and crushing it. What's the secret? What's the key to having a great Instagram following and presence? And
well, for me, I try to upload things every day. Try to be consistent. I think that's the number one thing for any social media platform, really.
For sure.
And it basically started with me just putting like pictures from me doing shows and whatnot. I don't do that much anymore. Now it's basically just pictures of my deck of cards. That is, and it's magic videos, and I try to be good to my friends, so I share their things as well. I take a lot of selfies, and people might think that there's like no filter and stuff like that. But there's like 3 apps going on before I put up my pictures on Instagram, to be honest. But yeah, I never remove any freckles or anything like that. But yeah, it happens. So yeah, I think use a good camera, and if you don't have a good camera, make sure you have good lights. Make it relevant. For me, my Instagram is about like the secret life behind being a magician, like what I do, and sometimes I post pictures of my clients and my partners and stuff like that. So basically, I just started using a lot of hashtags and started liking other magician stuff. And since I started to become somewhat of a name in the magic industry, like when I started doing interviews for, podcasts and magic magazines and stuff like that, people have been looking me up, and trying to find me and stuff. And that's amazing. So mainly my audience on Instagram is mainly magicians.
Right. So it's sort of the engagement that you're going for, that you're giving people a little snippet into your life, like the people who are already fans and want a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people that are already fans, the 23,500 already fans. Those are those people, those guys.
Yeah, guys.
So,
that's basically just guys.
and the couple of girls, but magicians. We know the numbers. What I was gonna say though, which is funny, is, and it's true for us as well. You know, some of the photos that we upload to Instagram that are like quality and that get a lot of likes are the ones taken on a professional camera. I mean, like, you joked about things being pushed through 3 and 4 apps, but I do not have one Instagram photo from the Discourse in Magic page, or actually there's one, but which was taken on my phone and uploaded immediately after. You know, what's happening is they're taken with a camera, then they're brought into some editing thing where I can overlay some text, and I change the filters, and then it gets sent back to my phone so that I can put it on Instagram.
Yep.
And it's because that's where the quality of Instagram posts are at.
Yes.
And that's how you have to play. You got to play the game.
Yeah. I've been asked to do a lot of promotion for different things lately, like fitness things and protein stuff, you know. And the only reason is because my Instagram looks so professional, I think. So let's see here. I'm opening up my Instagram right now. And so the thing is, I take a picture with my phone almost always. And I have an iPhone 6 Plus. So it's
pretty good camera.
Yeah, it's good. So I have a huge window in my living room, and I try to take almost all my selfies there. And if I'm not home, I use another big window. So use daylight. It's going to work best. And I have a ring light as well that I put on my Lumix G7. If I use that, it's a 4K camera, and it works great.
Awesome.
But I think the number one thing is to make it available for you, whatever works for you, but it needs to be good. So I bought a SD card reader that I can plug right into my phone, and
wow.
Yeah, that's amazing. It cost me like
that
30
seems like
bucks.
that would save so many of the hours that I currently
Yes, and I can put it up whenever I want, you know. So I put in the pictures, and then I open an app that is called Facetune. So if you guys are gonna write this down. So it's Facetune, and I use that to get rid of anything that is weird, and I brighten up my eyes and stuff like that because I like having the Bambi eyes. And after that, I go into Afterlight to give it a frame. So I put the frame to 50. If you're going to open this app, you're going to understand what I mean. And from these apps, you can actually upload them directly into Instagram, and it makes everything so much easier. So it's about being awesome, I guess.
Yeah, it's about being awesome. No, but I think that it's really good advice, you know, just to make sure that you're producing. I mean, half the battle is daily quality, right? Like half of or not even necessarily daily, but regularly, right? Like regularly and quality. You know, if you put those two things together, you are able to build anything. And I guess the difference between daily, weekly, and monthly is how quickly you wanna grow.
Yeah, and what kind of audience do you have?
Exactly, and sort of like, you know, depending on what your audience is, will often dictate how quickly you can realistically build in that field. I mean, like, there's some fitness Instagram people who are in the hundreds of thousands, which doesn't really happen for magicians, you know? But magicians do have, you know, a tighter engagement, I think. They talk a lot about, you know, decks of cards or moves that, you know, can be filmed over your, you know, it's almost more specific, right? So it's sort of, I guess it all depends on what audience you're trying to pitch to. Do you have any experience getting non-magicians to follow your Instagram? Because I think a lot of the people that are listening to this are trying to make it popular for everyone else.
Yeah, whenever I do a public speaking or whatever, I always include my Instagram afterwards. Like, I have the last slide be all my social media things. And that's perfect for, you know, the 35 plus something mom that has like a company somewhere. And she works at the economy department maybe. And she follows you there, and she saw you on the stage, and that was fun. And then maybe she has a birthday party, or maybe she has a Christmas party at work. And I think for those kind of people, it's important to be top of mind always. So these people are going to follow you, and that's when we come to continuity. Is that the word? Yeah.
Continuity.
Continuity. I'm Swedish, okay. But
that's okay. I'm helping.
So that's good. So if you keep popping up on their Instagram all the time, they're gonna be more interested in you and more engaged in you, and maybe tell some friends about you. So yeah, I think that's good.
That's awesome. I think that's particularly good advice.
Does Instagram have an add in your bio feature like Snapchat has?
No, but
because I heard that tip from a
it
local
does recommend
magician.
people to you based on your location. So tagging if the location is relevant for sure.
Because one of our friends, who'll maybe be in a future episode, so I won't say his name, but he at the end of his show he holds up his phone and just says, "If you have Snapchat, turn on add nearby right now."
Oh,
and
that's
add
what you
me.
meant.
Yeah.
So, my question was going to be almost super related to that. Is do you? I mean, you put it up on the slide in the last thing in your show. Do you have some sort of call to action? Do you tell people to go engage in it and maybe they can win something, or you ask them to just as a did you like the show, or do you just put it up there and the ones who love it will do it and the ones who didn't don't matter anyways?
I have a lot of call to action in my newsletter, but not for Instagram and stuff. I do some giveaways. I'm sure you guys have seen it with my deck of cards especially, but I'm really running low on cards and they're sold out, so I shouldn't do that anymore. I think I have
stop letting them buy them.
I think I have 50 decks left, which is crazy.
Wow.
And I printed 4,421, but who's counting?
Wow.
Yeah, they're all gone. That's so crazy. We have to print more. Maybe next year, if you guys are lucky.
My goodness. It's crazy, but it's also like a fifth to a sixth of your Instagram audience, which is it's crazy, but it's also that's a super realistic number of people who are big fans of you to want to buy.
It's a really good point. I'll spend the $8, whatever it is, on the deck of cards. If you have that many followers.
Yeah, if it's somebody who someone follows regularly and produces great stuff and whatever. I can imagine those are flying. You should have printed more, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I can imagine those would fly off the shelves.
I actually had a meeting with, you guys will be the first people to hear this actually. I had a meeting with Stockholm 17. Exclusive! Oh my god! It's going to be so exciting. No, but I met with Lorenzo, the guy who designed the cards, about a week ago. And we decided to print a second batch. So we're gonna change it slightly. We're gonna keep the quality. We're gonna keep the tuck box, but we're gonna change some features, and probably we're gonna change the color as well. So we'll see about that.
Interesting, a second edition.
That's gonna be cool. So if you
can hear my Canadian coming out when I say "a," and I don't even realize that I say.
No, I hear it when you say "a boot."
A boot? Is that what gives it away?
That is what gives it away.
I wanted to talk to you about.
Awesome. So we already had a media month a little bit back, where we delved into everything. But I wanted to talk to you about the two that I think you've owned, which is print media and Instagram. Mm-hmm. Are there any other big, huge secrets to the standard medias of selling your show and selling what you do?
Well, basically, you need to have a very good website.
Of course. And by the way, you have a very good website.
Thanks.
I couldn't understand a word, but
there is an English button up to your right.
I'm kidding. There was a translator.
Yeah.
But
I was like, is it not working?
No. It works. But 90% of seeing that a website is good is making sure that it looks good and the functionality is good and it leads people to the right places in the right ways. Mm-hmm. So it's really, really, really nice website. And you can continue talking about websites. I just wanted to because I wanted to highlight it.
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to the people who made it. Also, it's made by a company called Nerds of Sweden, and I met with the owner of that place about 2 years ago, and he saw me at an event, like a walk around kind of like a network thing. And he was wearing these super big blue glasses, so he stood out, and we ice catch thing, and I was like, oh, you're cool. And he was like, yeah, what do you do again? And I started telling him that I was a magician and stuff like that. And we started like going out for coffee and stuff and talking about our businesses, because we're at basically the same age, and talk about experience and stuff. And then my webpage that I had just crashed down, and he was like, you know what, I'll help you. And this PR place that he's running, they just built up my webpage, and it works perfectly. So they do that for me. So it's like a sponsorship that we're doing, and it's amazing. I meet them every week, and they're also the reason that I met my assistant, because she used to work there. So yeah, it's a great place. So they help me a lot. So yeah, that's great. And a couple of weeks ago, I actually got an email from, I'm not going to say which client it was, but it was a very, very high-end princess kind of thing. And it was because of my webpage. And so the thing is, I didn't know that I ranked so high abroad. Like in Sweden, I know that I'm high up, but knowing that in like other places, like in Asia, that people see my webpage, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's always cool to find out the reach of the different things like that that you do, and particularly, a web page which doesn't generate traffic like a social media account does, right? But it does generate sales more than any of them. So it's exciting to find out, when you check your Google Analytics and you see that you've been everywhere, it's great to find out. And it's also fun to find out why and how, right? To see what channels you're doing such a great job of making your way through, and which is bringing up the excitement or the commonality of your website coming up.
Exactly. So I want to talk to you guys about my newsletter as well, because that's something that I've been working on a lot lately. Like the last year, I've been killing it. So every 2 weeks, my newsletter comes out, and it's always news and it's always relevant, and there's always a call to action. A lot of magicians have a slow period in January and February if you're not like cruise shipping somewhere. So what I did for my November newsletter, I gave a 10% discount for booking a magic show in January and February, and that the 10% is going to go to charity. And like having the same fee, but the 10% is going to go to charity. And so I got a lot of bookings from that. Like people thought it was interesting and another way of seeing it, and yeah, that was cool. And so Alice has been taking over my newsletter lately, and it's always like a blog kind of thing, and there's always a call to action. And now recently I had a competition on my Facebook that actually the guy who runs another podcast that is called Magic and Cooking, the Magician's Lecture, that's what it's called. He won, the guy who ran that, so that was fun.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so Alice chose who won, and I was like, oh, I know that guy. So yeah, he was super excited, so that's great.
That's awesome. Yeah, we've been doing a ton of experimenting with newsletters, because we have a newsletter with Discourse in Magic.
Oh yeah?
And so one of the things that we do with it, which is very exciting, is that's where we sort of ask our audience questions that for us are leading questions as to what the new episodes and blogs should be about. So it's awesome because our fans get to become more fans almost, because we do the things that they want us to, right? Like, we're just interviewing people and writing blog posts. So if you want us to interview different people, then we'll as long as you're emphatic about it, like, we'll do it. Like, it's cool, right? We're trying to interview new cool magicians, so we've got a ton out of that. And definitely keeping in touch with, like we mentioned earlier, like past clients and past friends and past partners are so commonly forgotten about in magic, and keeping in touch with them with either a newsletter, or if you don't want to pay for an email service, you can either go for MailChimp and put some enters at the bottom and then nobody will see it, or you can just make yourself a calendar, a couple reminders, and an Excel spreadsheet just to touch base with a couple of important past clients when you're not necessarily asking them to hire you, right? You might just be saying, check out this new video or check out this new blog post or whatever the case may be. You're just providing them value, making them remember you, staying in their mind, and stuff like that.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something that I was not planning on telling you, but it's basically this.
Double exclusive.
Double exclusive. Yeah, the thing is that exactly what you said. It's very important, but there's one thing that I think people should stop saying, and that is past clients, because there's no such thing. I see people as just clients or partners or friends. Because if they booked you once, they most likely going to book you again if you did a good show. Sure. Otherwise, they're not just they're just not going to be in your system anymore. Yeah. But the thing I wanted to tell you guys is that I every day reach out to 3 new people. People that I have in my network to just touch base. It could be sharing a picture or a meme or an article or something about their business or whatever. Just send them a message, and I always do it on LinkedIn. And so I just send them a message. It can be like, hey, how did Casey do on her horse riding competition 2 weeks ago? And so I have a CRM where I put down everything about my clients that I can remember that they've told me. And it's killing it, you know. They see me as their friend, and it's amazing when I get there, you know, we're on a hugging basis, and they're like, oh my God, it's so great to have you back. And it's amazing. Oh my God. Oh, and I told my friends about you. And it just makes my life so much easier.
That is incredible. What CRM do you use, by the way?
Mago Talent.
Mago Talent. And I know all about that. That one's made specifically for magicians,
That is correct. Entertainers.
Yeah. Entertainers. And it's supposed to really do wonders for helping keep in touch. And I think it's awesome to make sure that you reach out every single day. And we talk a lot of, and specifically on what we just dipped in, you know, with CRMs and with stuff like that, you know, it's a lot of this automation, right? But to really make sure that you're doing that real stuff, right? Like reaching out to people. You know, it's one thing to plug their answers into the emails that you send them, but it's another thing to actually make that human connection. And, you know, this isn't like a weird secret business tip that you won't know. This is like, you know, a tip for how to make people from a client to a friend and to a partner and that's by being interested in their life and regularly touching base with them and being engaged. And if it means sharing something they do on social media, or it just means reaching out to them over a message, whatever it means for you, you know, like reaching out to those, I'm trying not to say past clients, but clients or whatever, you know, reaching out to people,
friends,
partners, people who, just to keep in touch. Makes a huge difference, particularly when you reach out and you don't ask for something in return. You know, that's how friendships are made. That's how partnerships and stuff like that. Yeah.
And so sometimes when I'm home, like having a rehearsal day or whatnot, I can only rehearse for like 45 minutes and then I'm done. You know, then I'm too tired in my head. So then I just call someone up, someone who I did a show for, or someone I met in a network meeting or whatever. And I talk to them for like 7 minutes. And we just laugh because they have always something to tell. And I'm like laughing so hard and they're like saying something else and I make a joke. And you know, I get energized by it, but they're going to be talking about this like at lunch. Oh my God, the magician Caroline just called me. That was so crazy. It will change their lives and how they look at you because they see us as superstars. That's the thing. And we just see, as I said before, the thing is that we see ourselves as magicians, but we shouldn't. We should see ourselves as superstars because the thing is we do things that no one else can do. We make things disappear, we make it vanish, we make it appear somewhat behind someone's ear or a card in the ceiling or whatnot. And they see us as people that have extraordinary abilities and they want to be around us. They want to be energized by us. So take advantage of that and enjoy it. Just ride the wave and have fun.
That's awesome. And like, you know, kind of like what you're saying, but by definition, what we do is impossible and amazing.
Yeah.
And try not to undersell it. One of the things that we talk about a lot in magic is that, or on this podcast, is that like, you know, performers are so wrapped up in their performing that they forget that they're doing magic.
Yes.
You know, they forget that like what they're doing is truly impossible. And that's one of the realest ways to connect with your audience, you know, is giving the impossible thing that you're doing the value that it deserves, right? And giving the impossible things that you do the value that they deserve. I just want to give a shout out to a friend of mine named Blake Fly, who is not a magician, he's a speaker, and I've shouted him out on this podcast before, but he does something after he speaks at an event. He hand writes thank you cards to the people. And I remember being in an event and getting a handwritten thank you card from him, and it was the most incredible thing ever, honestly. And to find out that he does that with everybody was even more amazing, you know. It just made me think, you know, he's at the end of an event, you know, instead of, you know, the rest of us, we shake their hands, we go, thank you so much, yeah, it was great, no you hang up first, whatever, I'll see you later. This guy, like, gives them a card where he writes out a thank you, and of course, like you said, he puts in information that he learned, you know. It shows that he paid attention and that he cares about who they are, and that's why he's got, and it's one of the reasons why he has an incredible following and that people talk as passionately about him as I do, because it, you know, it feels like they care, and it's because they do. And I think that's a beautiful thing to keep in mind. Like you said, you know, care about these people, make them your friends, make them your partners, make them, you know, like, who do you call to have a 10-minute conversation with who you haven't spoken to for a couple of years? An old friend.
Yeah.
You know, not a random potential client. That's not who that is, right? So really make that relationship.
Yeah. Don't make it weird when you call them. Just be like,
of course.
But just be like, oh, hey man, I was just thinking about you. So great seeing you in the networking thing last week. Oh my God, this just happened. It's so funny. And they're going to love it. And yeah, they're going to be your friend forever. And whenever they change companies or whatnot, they're going to make sure to let you know. And you have another connection into another company, and it's you can't buy that. It's amazing.
The more people that you can be the number one go-to magician for, you know, the better likely it will be that you will be the hired magician when they need it.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Awesome. Yeah. So one of the things that we do at the end of the episode is we go around and we mention things that we thought were particularly valuable, take-home point, or something from the episode, just because an hour's worth of conversation is a lot to digest, maybe something to take action on very soon. So for me, I was a huge fan of just, you know, one of the underlying things from the whole thing is reaching out, to share what you do with people who you know already, or reaching out to news networks and people like that, trying to share what you do, inviting them into your home, baking some delicious baked goods, but more than anything, just giving them the opportunity, because if you don't tell someone that you're a magician who quit your job and decided to do magic full time, nobody's going to know. So, and I think that's a great thing to keep in mind for how to talk to the news about what you're doing. Tyler, anything that you thought from this that was particularly valuable?
I really like the idea of connecting with your clients on a personal level, and I've always sort of thought of, like, you know, you have to put yourself into your magic and make your show about you, but I like that your character on and off stage is someone who's sort of sociable and just wants to have a good time, and that is what helps sell future shows. And yeah, I don't know, I just find that really inspiring that you wanna try to, I don't know, merge your performance character and your social character into the same sort of entity, I guess.
And Carolyn, is there anything from the whole episode, either something you said or we said or just came up in conversation, that you think is a brilliant or super valid or valuable take-home point for magicians at home?
Read. And not just read as in text. Read as in when you meet people. See who they are, listen to them, and make sure that you connect with them. That's the number one thing. And if I had to put it down into one word, it's just read. Because you can see so much when you give someone just 1 minute of your time at a networking event. Make sure you look at them and make sure you see what's going on with them. And I think that's very valuable. And as you do that and you're reconnecting with these people afterwards, it's going to mean a lot to them. And that's also in the long run going to mean something for well, your wallet and future business. So make sure to take that in and make it happen.
100%. And I think the value of quality human connections is invaluable. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's like nothing else to have people who are caring for you and rooting for you, and you're rooting for them. That's the kind of thing that you're hoping for. So I think that is super, super awesome advice. With at least millions of magicians listening to this, is there any PSA or something that you want to share with all magicians? Either we've had everything from a word of warning to a word of caution to positive encouragement to negative discouragement. Anything you want to share with the magicians of the world?
Yes, I think so. Don't suck. Kidding. No, okay, no, but seriously though, there have been a lot of bad magicians out there for many, many years, but we see them especially on social media. And when you see magic online, I think it's also something that Tom Stone told me. He said, don't ever give feedback if it's not asked for, and especially don't do it in public. But what if we see things that is not good for the magic community? What do we do then? Like for me, when I see something that is flashing too hard or whatnot, I offer my advice. And I think when people do that, it kind of sounds like you're superior, like you're better than them. So when giving advice, I think that we should try to be more humble, because when we see people on Instagram and stuff, we see, oh my God, you flashed so hard, or oh, this is so bad, or this is this and this routine from that and that person. And that's not constructive at all. If we want magic to be an art form and be considered as such, we need to treat it as one. And the reason for us to be doing magic is because we want to amaze people, and we can't do that if people already know what we're doing. So try to take magic seriously, and let's make it great again, like Maddie Gilbert says.
There you go. And I think that is really good advice, especially as magic morphs more and more into the online world, and magicians get to live in the same world that everyone else is living in, which is hiding behind a screen to often share their ideas. And I think magic has done a pretty okay job of holding out from having secrets being exposed online, but we're getting there. They're exposing more and more and more. And there is more and more magic appearing online, whether it's cool new YouTube channels or whether it's people who we follow on Instagram or who we get emails from or who we watch on Facebook videos or anything like that. Its presence is getting more known. So definitely thinking about how you interact with those magicians around you, even in the social media world. Giving criticism and giving compliments and stuff like that goes a long way, and just to make sure that you're doing it tactfully and appropriately. And I think that's a great thing to keep in mind as we move into the online magic era.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Carolyn, is there any last thoughts that you want to share before we let you go?
I just realized that we haven't gotten back to the magic world record thing that I started this episode with.
Let's do it. Yeah, right now.
I was like, we can't leave without talking about that.
No, let's do it. What is it?
So the thing is that me and another guy, he's another guy, I'm not a guy, but his name is Finnur, he's from Iceland. He lives in the city of Malmö in Sweden, and he had a vision a couple of years back where he realized that this city of only 320,000 people is the number 4 on the list of nationalities recognized by the UN represented in the same city. The only cities that have more people represented by the recognized by the UN thing living in the city is New York, Washington, and London. And those are huge cities. And so we have Malmö, the city in Sweden that is very small and very diverse. So he thought that what about we could do this city, we could make it into the only city in the world that has every nationality represented. So he started looking into it, started looking at which nationalities were missing. And he realized there's only 23 nationalities missing to make Malmö complete. So for about 2 years now, I think, he has been working on this project. And I heard his speech like a year ago. He had this morning meeting thing. And as I'm listening to this, I'm starting to think, what if I could be the only magician in the world that has ever performed for the entire world at the same time? So we started talking. I bought him some coffee, and we realized that we have a lot in common, and we want to see this city growing more and being one of the coolest city in the world. Maybe the metropole, is that the word? Like the yes,
like metropolitan.
Yeah, of the world. So we built a flag park in the harbor, which has 193, I think, flag posts. And so every flag will be up there for all the nationalities represented.
Wow.
And so January 22nd, we are having a big, grand, like a ceremony to open this thing up. It's going to be TV, the news things, the magazines, the radio, everything's going to be there to see this happen. And I'm going to do an illusion with a flagpole. No pressure. Fully examinable. Cray. Where are you, friend Sean Farquhar, when I need you? It's like, come here, man. No, but anyways, so we're going to do that. And so for next year, every one of these nationalities are going to move into the city. And they're going to get a bicycle, they're going to get a phone, and they're going to get a job, an apartment, and stuff like that. And everything is already fixed, you know. And we had so many applicants to get into Sweden, because Sweden is like the best country in the world. Am I right?
Yeah, shout out to Sweden. There
Legitimately, yeah. Everyone in Canada.
Sweden is awesome.
Like, everyone in the States wants to move to Canada, but everyone in Canada wants to move to Sweden. So
Yeah.
I mean,
you guys are welcome.
Well, where do you guys from Sweden want to move? Tell me you want to stay there, because if that's the case, then we found
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we do want to stay here, but it's so cold in the winter. It's so cold. It's worth it though. I mean, we get free healthcare, we get paid to go to school. Yeah, it's amazing.
God, that sounds great.
It's heaven.
That sounds great.
But anyways, so for the next year, we're going to have everyone move into the city and making it complete in that sense. So we're hoping for November next year to have the big gala and have Guinness World Record be there and have all these people, all nationalities represented. Maybe and hopefully we will have the UN there represented as well. And and do a big magic show for the entire world at the same time. And hopefully it would also be live broadcasted.
That would be absolutely incredible. And if you need a Canadian to fill a spot there, just give me a buzz. No, but honestly, that sounds really incredible. And I think, you know, you are constantly reaching new heights in your magic, whether it's, you know, getting the attention of incredibly important people, or whether it's just getting better and honing your skill. And it seems like this is a great, huge opportunity for you to do both. You know, put more of you into what you do with this sort of big, hopefully, record, and, you know, share your love for the city that you're in, for nationalities, and for magic. So I'm very excited to see that happen, because I think that anything that lets the amazing magicians shine and hopefully reach more people, I am for, and particularly you. So there you go.
That's so cute.
Oh, shucks. Well, thank you so much for everything, for the episode and everything. Where can people find you on the big, huge online world?
I would say the number one place to find me is Instagram, where I am called Ravn Magic. That is RAVN Magic. There you can find me. You can find me on YouTube. You just search for my name there, Caroline Ravn. You can find me on Snapchat. That's a little more complicated. It's called Livet enligt. And that's Swedish for life according to. How smart it is for a Snapchat name. So that is, let me see here. LIVET ENLI. Let me think. I have to write it down as I'm speaking. Okay, let's do that again. So it's LIVET ENLIGT. Livet enligt. You can find me there. I post a lot of more private things there than I put on my Instagram.
Awesome. And do you post almost as much on Snapchat as you do on Instagram, or no?
It's more on Snapchat, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of pictures of my dog there. She's so cute, though.
I think, and almost just a last thing to touch on before we let you go, the big movement of Instagram to add these stories, and, you know, the big excitement in the last year and a half of the sort of daily disappearing story type videos through Snapchat is really going to change the way that magicians do their online marketing. The peek into the world of magic, is going to become very different now that we have the need to produce daily videos.
Yeah.
So I think that's very awesome. And awesome, I think a lot of people are going to... don't be surprised if you see a big, huge jump in your Instagram followers. Because I'm playing. But I think that everybody should follow you on Instagram because it's really fun. It's awesome to see the stuff you're working on. You do a great job of sharing some of the awesome stuff that the magicians around you are doing. And it's great. Carolyn, thank you so much for everything, coming on the episode, sharing with us all of your brilliant insights, and bringing us to this point here.
Well, thank you for having me. I had a great time.
Thank you so much. And of course, a big thank you to everybody at home who listened to an hour plus of talking about magic, and we didn't teach you any tricks, which is usual for us, but I will say props to you because,
You made it.
Takes a little. So you made it. Thank you guys at home. Thank you to Carolyn. And we'll see you all next week on Discourse in Magic.
Take care.
Well, there you go. Episode 41 of Discourse in Magic with Carolyn Ravn. I hope that you got a ton out of it, whether it means remembering to utilize your newsletter, remembering to follow up with past clients, whether it means some tips for Instagram, or if it's just a reminder to bake some cookies or muffins before the interviewer comes over. Whatever it is, you have actionable tips. So big, huge thank you to Carolyn for that. As well, I'd like to remind you, if you're listening to this before January 15th, 2017, we have our live event coming up. That is right, live in Toronto, January 15th, 5 o'clock. You can check our Facebook for details. And if you don't live anywhere near Toronto, then feel free to check us out on Facebook Live. We'll be streaming some of that event. So that'll be pretty cool. And Tyler, what should people do now that they know a little bit more about Instagram?
Follow us, I think. Because we learn all these things about Instagram and then we do them.
That's
on our
exactly
Instagram.
right.
So you can see the examples, and our Instagram is only getting better, and it's already fantastic. So you can definitely hop on there. Not just because we got some awesome photos and some quotes and some episode numbers and all that stuff, but we do the Instagram stories, and that's where you get the exclusive details about what's coming up and get the inside of our life and see what's going on.
Yeah, yesterday, it's actually just down right now, you must have just missed it, but there was the clip of us on the phone with our good friend Neil. Patrick Harris, that is, yeah. But he's...
he lets you call him Neil. I have to call him Mr. Harris.
But. Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, you're almost
you've known him longer.
So he wants to be on one of the episodes. We've had some scheduling difficulties, but... him and Vernon really struggling to get them both on, but he told us that he is down. So expect an episode soon. Will be with our good friend Neil, and if you tune into some of those stories, you might see him. No promises, but it might happen.
Those leaked photos of Count Olaf? That was us.
Yeah, I don't know what you just said. Is it a nudie?
No.
Okay, then we didn't do it. Then it's fine. I mean, then it's fine.
Then we didn't do it.
No, we didn't do it.
It wasn't us.
No, we didn't do it. We don't leak nudies. We can leak something else. We don't leak nudies.
No. We don't leak nudies.
We don't leak nudies. Okay. I hope that you guys enjoyed whatever just happened and episode 41. You're really going to enjoy episode 42, whether you are with us in Toronto, catching it live on Facebook, or just catching it in this feed 8 months later. Whatever. Okay. See you guys later.
Peace.